Okay, let's go ahead and start with problem number 1 from section 6.1. We have x squared plus 2 is the expression, and we're going to put in the value x equals 3 and simplify. Okay, so what happens here is you take your expression x squared plus 2, and really you can think of your x as a placeholder. So wherever there's going to be an x, you would put in the value 3. So it would simply be 3 squared plus 2. Order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses, exponents, and then multiplications and divisions from left to right, additions and subtractions. So 3 squared, you do the exponent, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. So our correct answer is 11. Now, you can also do this on your calculator. But you just got to put in the values, all numbers, but we have numbers. So again, x is 3, so it's 3 squared plus 2, and there's our answer, 11. Okay, now be careful here. This one's the opposite of x squared plus 2, number 2. The opposite of x squared plus 2 equals 3. So the opposite of x squared plus 2, and x is 3. So it's the opposite. Again, the base is 3. That's like multiplying by -1. So you're going to square 3, then you're going to multiply by -1 and add 2. So again, 3 squared, the base is 3, is 9. -1 times 9 is a -9 plus 2. -9 plus 2, subtract the numbers because they're different signs, and you take the sign of the larger absolute value, which in this case is a negative. So our answer is a -7. Okay? So we have our answer, -7. Now again, on the calculator, you can do it. Just be careful. The opposite, the negative sign is below the 3. And then the base is 3. That's squared. And then you add 2, and there's our correct answer, -7. So as long as you input it into the calculator correctly, you will get the correct answer using the calculator. All right, number 3, x squared minus 2x, x equals a -11. Now this time the base is a -11, so the parentheses, so in this case, the base is a -11, so it's a net. You need a parentheses around -11 because that's your base, squared minus 2 times x, which is a -11. So now be careful. -11 squared, a negative times a negative is a positive, and then it's 121 minus 22. Oops, not equals. 121 minus, whoa, be careful. Minus, almost made a mistake, 2 times -11 is a -22. So then it would really be 121 minus a negative is plus a positive. So we add them together, and we would get 143. Again, the calculator, you need a base, you need a parentheses around the -11 because it's negative. So -11, that number is squared, and then subtract 2 times, again, x is a -11 in parentheses, and, oh, -11, I put 2, I didn't hit the square, all right. Let's try that again. Put it in the wrong, didn't do the square. So -11, and now it's x squared. There, that's better. And then minus 2 times -11 in parentheses. And there we go, 143. Same correct answer we got doing it pencil and paper. All right. 4 plus 6 times x minus 8 cubed when x equals 9. So again, we have 4 plus 6 in parentheses, x is 9, so I'll substitute 9 for x minus 8, and that's cubed, Order of operations, inside the parentheses, subtract. So 4 plus 6, 9 minus 8 is 1. 1 cubed is 1 times 1 times 1, which is simply 1. So it's still 1. And then the multiplication, 6 times 1 is 6. 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. So using our order of operations, we get the correct answer of 10. All right, and on the calculator, copy it in. 4 plus 6, left paren, x is 9, subtract 8, and then be careful, it's raised to the third power, not squared. So up arrow and then the third power, and there's our same correct answer, a positive 10. All right, let's look at number 5. X squared minus 15 times x minus y, x equals 8, and y equals 4. So again, wherever there's an x, we're going to put in 8. And wherever there's a y, we're going to put in 4, right? So our expression is x squared, so it's 8 squared minus 15, a left paren, x is 8, minus y, which is 4, and then a right paren. So order of operations, parentheses, the 8 minus 4 is 4. Then 8 squared, exponent 64. And then actually we'll do the multiplication before this subtraction. So if we want to do 2 steps, 15 times 4 is 60. And then 64 minus 60, of course, is 4. So our correct answer is a positive 4. And on the calculator, it's x squared, x is 8 squared, subtract 15 times, or left paren, x is 8, subtract y is 4, and there's our correct answer of 4. All right, problem number 6. All right, now again, negative 8. So be careful. You got it's a negative 8, so you must have a parentheses around negative 8 because that's your base. So again, following here, the expression, we have a negative 3, right? And then we have negative 8, must be in parentheses because it's a negative base. It's raised to the second power, so x squared, subtract 4, and then times x, which again is a negative 8, and then subtract 3, and we get a negative 163, which is indeed the correct answer. So again, pencil and paper, we would have a negative 3 times a negative 8 squared minus 4 times negative 8 minus 3. Now be careful here. A negative 8 squared is a negative 8 times a negative 8 is a positive 64, right? So negative 3 times 64 minus, we can do this multiplication. 4 times negative 8 is a negative 32, right? Well, we have the subtraction, minus 3. Negative 3 times 64 is a negative 192. Minus a negative makes it plus a positive, right? Minus a negative 2, minus 3. So a negative 132 plus 32, subtract the two numbers because they're opposite signs, and the larger, and it's a negative 160. And then minus 3, a negative 160 plus a negative 3, two negatives, add them together, and your answer is negative 163, which is the same correct answer we got using our calculator. Okay? All right, number 7. When x is a negative 2, y equals negative 1, Again, you got to be careful here. You got to make sure you get all your signs correct. It's going to be the opposite of x, which is a negative 2 squared minus 5 times x, which is a negative 2, times y, which is a negative 1, plus 5 times a negative 1 to the third power. So here the exponent negative 2 squared is a positive 4, right? Negative times a negative, but the negative out in front will make it a negative 4, minus 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Negative 10 times negative 1 is a positive 10, so it's going to be positive 10, but this is a subtraction, right? So I bring this down, negative 1 cubed, negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is a negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. Positive 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. So 5 times negative 1, so it's going to be negative 4 plus a negative 10. We're going to go ahead and do 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. Negative 4 plus negative 10 is negative 14. And another negative, add them together, and your answer is negative 19. Two negatives, add them together, and your answer is negative. So our correct answer is a negative 19. Okay, again, you can do this on your calculator. Be careful now. You start out with the opposite, right? And then the x, which is a negative 2, so you need it in parentheses, negative 2, and it is squared. Then you're subtracting 5 times x, which is a negative 2, times y, which is a negative 1, and then plus 5. And then in parentheses, because it's a negative base, negative 1. And again, it's raised to the third power. Be careful, the third power. And there's our correct answer, negative 19. Okay, same answer we got doing pencil and paper. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop this session at problem number 7. If you have any questions, email me at tswers@hodges.edu or call me at 239-938-7805. Thank you.